All right. Good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday and happy Hoops Hobby Hangout Day. Happy hanging out. I am Joey here with the two Ryans and Tim and Steve here to talk cards as always, but especially specifically here to talk how the playoffs and finals, kind of the role they play in our cards, whether that's themed cards or how it affects our collecting habits or our viewing habits of the league or whatever. That's what we're going to be focusing on today. As always, we would love for anybody who's interested to join us. So I see a couple people hanging out with us already. If anyone is interested in joining us, the QR code is up in the top right of your screen. I think it should be in the top right of your screen. Feel free to scan that. You can scan that and then join from a phone or a computer, or the link is going to be in both places that we are viewable right now, which is YouTube and Instagram. So either of those, and I'll repeat that again before we get into the meat and potatoes of our conversation. But yeah, as always, anybody to join us. We're down Adam today, so we need some support from anybody who's interested in doing so. But yeah, it's been a long time. It feels I haven't been here. I wasn't here last week. It feels like somehow it's been a month or two since I've talked to you guys. How you guys been?
Doing all right.
Playoffs are heating up finally. It started off a little slow, but I think everyone's loving these conference finals.
I know there've been some good games, right? Like the comeback in Detroit in game 1, and then obviously Spurs and Thunder splitting game 2. It's I mean, unfortunately I haven't had the privilege to be able to watch, but you guys have any like takeaways? You said, Tim, that they're heating up, they're entertaining. You guys have any like specific things you've enjoyed?
Yeah, seeing the Knicks, I'm wearing a Nets hat, so let's be clear, I'm a Nets fan, but it's hard not to, enjoy good basketball in your city. I never really had much hatred between Knicks and Nets. It's not often they've been good at the same time in my life. Maybe one day I'll start hating them more, but it's cool. It's cool to watch great basketball. This is a team that's been put in the corner so many times and has made so many comebacks. Indiana just made a few more. But I think that it's been great to see them be pushed, especially in game 1. And I think it's going to be a fun rest of the series. And then to see the Spurs with Wemby, he's playing with such ferocity right now. He looks so angry at the Thunder, and you just love to see someone with that, skill set and body frame go absolutely ballistic against the reigning champions. You don't really get to see that happen too often in a series, so it's really been a treat to watch that one too.
Yeah, I don't think he's alone in being angry at the Thunder. I don't spend a ton of time on like social media anymore, but I feel like in the small amount of time I spend just to like put a story post or whatever for the hangouts, like I just see a lot of hate for the Thunder and on Reddit and whatever. So it doesn't seem like he's alone.
Yeah, there's a lot of theatrics, I think, going on. A lot of, all the time, and it's part of the game these days, but I feel like they're doing it a lot, and they already get a lot of calls with Shea. So yeah, people are definitely getting bothered.
Yeah, that game 1, that was crazy. I mean, people were basically calling Mike Wemby the greatest player of all time after game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, his first appearance. I mean, he played an excellent game, but, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I was thinking like, okay, OKC isn't going to just let him come out and do all that next game, and they surely didn't. But yeah, it's been great. I've been really enjoying it myself.
Hartenstein did a better job on him, I think.
Yeah.
My takeaway is the Western Conference Finals is the battle for the championship. I don't think the East really stands a chance against either of those two squads. And I love the Knicks, and the mass hole in me was watching that the Cavs fall apart in a very Boston-centric way and being like, yep, I know this playbook. You get a 20-point lead, and then you just want to protect it and play lazy and check up threes and not adjust and not call timeouts, and all of a sudden your 20-point lead to the Knicks in the playoffs is whittled away. I've seen that once or twice last year, but no, it's been fun. I think I saw today that it's the first time in NBA history that both Western Conference playoff rounds have opened up with overtime games. So it just shows you sort of the back and forth that
nice.
Both series are off to, and I think once the playoffs started, I had the Knicks as the favorites to come out of the East. I just thought, they're the most well-balanced team, so it's not surprising to me what they're doing. But I didn't know if the Spurs would be ready for this type of competition against OKC, and they're clearly hanging in there. So I hope that goes 7 games. I don't know if I can handle if Wemby gets to the finals already, because I definitely agree with Ryan that like the ball washing was a little intense halfway through game 1. But that's the social media era too, right? Where it's people are very reactionary, which I think is a little bit of what we're going to talk about today, with the reactionary, and if people are scrolling through eBay while they're watching these games, or if the hype's coming, or if Tim's added a new page based on 2 games of a conference finals already, or and then End was sharing off some of our final playoff games. So, but yeah, it's been fun. And it definitely, I agree with you, Tim. The first few rounds were, part of it was my Celtics were embarrassed, but the first few rounds were definitely lackadaisical at best viewing, and now they've definitely locked in. So it's been good to see.
Yeah, it'd be crazy. I mean, I already saw posts on Reddit asking who you would take, a current Wemby or a 22-year-old LeBron, if you were starting a team right now. And obviously it's like LeBron has his entire career, Wemby like in etched in stone, and Wemby is still in his third year? Is his third year right now? Yeah, third year. So like you can't say you'd take Wemby or whatever, but imagine if he makes it to the finals and or wins the finals. I mean, what conversations would there be if they're already talking about him as the greatest of all time after that game? But yeah, it's crazy. It's interesting, Tim, that you mentioned the rooting for the Knicks, because my brother's the exact same way. So we're in Southern California. We grew up, right? I don't know. I can't say I grew up an Angels fan. Like I've always been an Indians Guardians fan, but he was an Angels fan forever. Like when he was in grad school, he had season tickets for a year, and he would go to couple handfuls of games a year. But obviously they've been so irrelevant for the greater part of 2 decades, not unlike my Kings, that he's kind of jumped over to the Dodgers. So he's happy. He's like, you know what? I want to watch the Dodgers. I want to watch them win. Even during the season, he kind of roots for the Dodgers because he doesn't find a point in rooting for the Angels. So it's kind of a similar situation.
I think OKC needed to be punched in the mouth. I think going 4-4 and sweep and coming in here with all the rest and feeling like, hey, we're going to do something. Wemby decided that wasn't going to happen. But De'Aaron Fox's high ankle sprain is concerning because I don't think that Spurs team has much of a chance if they're going to have injuries on top of the level of competition that they're going to have to face.
Yeah, didn't OKC have a couple players out too now?
Yeah, Williams didn't finish the game 2, and that's a big one. I mean, he's clutch for them, and he's a big outside stretch the floor guy,
mid-range guy too.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, hopefully they both kind of are at close to full strength as possible for as much of the series as possible, because it would be a shame. I think, Tim, you said or Steve, maybe you said the series deserves 7 games with the fact that they're just such good teams and so closely matched. So yeah, let's go.
I think the final thing I'll say, Joe, is just, I know we don't have millions of people listening to this, but like, as you're watching this, don't worry about greatest ever. Like, just enjoy the series, because they were talking on the radio here in Boston that, the Warriors won the championship in 2022, and 3 seasons later, they're not even a playing team, right? Like, things change so fast in the NBA. It only takes one player getting old, or one bad trade, or one injury. So you really have to enjoy each season for what it is and not worry about these gaps after gaps. And it's very likely that Wemby's going to be the next generational talent, but like, let that happen over time and then reflect on it. Don't worry about it now, because next season could be completely different, So just, you got to really enjoy it for what it is and not worry about some stupid Reddit poll about LeBron versus Wemby style. Like, that's just clickbait. Yeah. So, but the NBA, it's short, short half-lives with these teams being great. So just, you got to enjoy the run.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. And I mean, I'm so enthralled by Wemby and what he's doing, and hopefully he punches back again. But I mean, I saw this meme where it's like being a neutral fan when you're watching the playoffs. Like, there's no stress, and it's like a butterfly like coming by you, and you're just like, wow, it's very neat. And it's like you're just marveling in good basketball and just watching basketball for basketball, not necessarily rooting for anyone. And it's just I wish my Nets were in there. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But it's fun to watch, like, from the historic standpoint, and just, all the historic implications of teams getting eliminated early, or, someone like Wemby advancing, and just thinking of those implications, or someone like Sam Merrill, if he hits that shot. You know what I mean? Before overtime, it's like, what does he become? Is he DiVincenzo now to a lot of people? You know, so it's just cool to see even the role players, step up and become big names, like a Caruso with the Lakers a couple of years ago, or TJ McConnell with the Pacers. Like, I love seeing those stories of those small guys pop up, and I find that to be really fun to watch too.
I think Caruso had 31 points in game 1 too, didn't he?
He is a coach's dream. Oh my god! Imagine having that on anyone's team, just running around causing havoc and then hitting threes like that. Oh,
He frustrated me so bad last year when the Nuggets played him. Oh my god!
You're always worried about him. It's when he's out there.
He's just a pest, and he's a great player. I mean, he does his job and he does it well. But yeah, oh man, I was so.
When you're against him, it's like, damn, he really knows what he's doing.
The worst part about Caruso is he looks like the least athletic guy on the floor. He's just out there running circles around you guys, and I mean, he's so clutch with his big shots, and the rebounding is underrated. He's really fun to watch, but man, he's frustrating.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, very cool. Do you guys have anything from the last week that you want to share from a hobby perspective? Thoughts, pickups, etc. happenings?
I got a pickup that came in today, Joey. Sorry, I'm going to just look away from my computer for a second. Let me grab it out of binder. But I was really excited about this one. This is literally a card I've been chasing for a decade now, and I couldn't hold off like getting it into my binder and putting it on Instagram. So I've already shared it. But I'm a huge fan of the status and aspiration parallels. So just quick reminder for people. The status and aspirations go back to the late 90s with Donruss Elite football and baseball. And the one version of the card will be numbered, so serial numbered up to the player's jersey number. So like Pedro Martinez would have an out of 45 card, and then the aspirations or the mirror version, that would be numbered the remainder up to 100. So his other version would be out of 55, right? So 45 and 55 make 100. So for the entire Panini run, I've been collecting at least one version for each year they've had it, starting in 2009-10. And for the life of me, for almost a decade, I could not find Paul Pierce's 09, 2010 aspirations out of 34. And then it popped up on eBay earlier this week to let me complete the run. So Not only did it pop up on eBay, it's a die cut card. So if you watch on the video, I mean, there's a lot of die cuts, a lot of corners, and it's a dark bordered card. This thing's in excellent condition. Like, it's not all rounded corners and everything. And I was the only bidder. So I got this card I've been chasing for literally almost a decade for $2 plus shipping. So
incredible.
Is it number 2?
Out of 34. Yep.
Nice.
Yep. So
Yeah, that's incredible.
One of those cards that, like, you know, the feeling of like erasing it off your eBay save searches. It's like, all right, goal accomplished. Yeah. It's such a nerdy thing to do, but like that $2 card means more to me than most cards I've got in already this calendar year. So I was super stoked for that. And really had a lot of fun deleting that off my eBay save searches. So that was cool.
I love it, man. Awesome.
Yeah, you always got to have like a list of 4 or 5 cards that you just can't find, and then every couple of years, find it. You cross off one of those very few. It feels so nice.
It's always fun, yeah.
Yeah, congratulations. And I actually love the blue. Like, the blue is so vibrant on it. It's beautiful. I know the color matches are what people normally look for, but I actually like when there's a little contrast in the color. So even the blue and green aren't matching. Just the vibrancy of it looked really good.
Yeah, and blue and red they use that a couple different years, even dating back. That mimics some of the 2000s baseball sets as well, the blue and and red. So it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, no, for sure. It's cool stuff. Appreciate it, guys. And that's all I've got for updates.
I got a low end pickup. These are these draft redemption. Hold on, let me get rid of this blur so you can see it.
Is Jeff with us? Is this a Kukoc setup?
Oh no, I'm gonna have to hold it on my forehead, man.
Yeah, you probably do need to hold it back. Oh, there you go. Good job.
Is that a 0506 or 0405?
This is a 0708 draft redemption number 6. It's showing up on the screen backwards, but it is of Gallinari. So I pick these up when I can. I already have most of these, but I saw this one show up with the draft redemption card, which so I believe the green goes with the green parallel. Like, these are out of 149. But just to show you the binder page too.
While you're opening that, I'll confirm, Ryan. Yes, the redemption was made in the parallel. So even the superfractors had the superfractor design on the redemption. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. So you've got if you can see it there. That's just the regular base right there, the red.
Mhm.
And then I do have a black. I'm not quite. I think the black was what was that the out of 75? It's on the other page, but this is. I never showed this one off. This came a couple months ago, but this is actually super hard to find. The autograph version on a 10. It's got that kind of X Factor design.
Oh, that's awesome.
But
So
yeah, just a cool low end find. But I always like those draft redemption cards when you can find them, just because you don't see them a lot of times. I mean, people just threw these away. I guess
Yeah.
they mailed them back with them, is why they're still around, or maybe they just hung on to one. So
I absolutely mailed mine back.
did they?
Oh,
It had a form on the back of it, doesn't it, that you can fill in?
Yeah, exactly. They mailed yours back with the filled in form. That's cool. Yeah, because this one's not filled in. So I have a feeling somebody maybe just pulled it out and just kept it with the card or something because they were going after him like I was. But yeah, I wasn't collecting back then, so I don't really know the backstory on them. That's cool that they sent it back though.
So those are the XRCs, right? He was an 08-09 rookie, but then in
Yeah.
08 finest, they released those redemptions for the 6th pick, whoever it ended up
Yep,
being.
exactly. That's
And
how it
then
went.
when it was Gallinari, they gave you a redemption for that card of him. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they could go back to something like that. I don't think they've done that in the Panini era ever. I don't remember any draft redemption cards.
Does Topps do that now? Or are they doing that for
I don't
25
think
6?
so.
Okay.
Maybe, but I don't believe
Yeah, that would be cool.
I think that was the only 3 or 4 years that they did it. They started it, I think, in 04, 05. Mine
I
was
think you're
on
right.
Livingston that I turned in.
Oh, okay.
I think they started with LeBron's year, didn't they? 0304.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because they did have
I think it was
XRCs. that year.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
His finest XRC. I'm pretty sure he has a finest XRC, and it was all around the LeBron hype. And then they continued for a couple seasons after that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congrats. That's a great pickup, Ryan.
Yeah. When I find them, a lot of people don't list them because they're not going to just list the, like draft redemption card, and who's going to pay for that or care. But like I see them a lot listed with the card, and occasionally you'd see them pop up just in a lot of stuff. That's how I've gotten the other ones, I think.
What's going on, Gary? Thanks for hanging out. It was a crazy one. Lots of praise for finally picking up that card, Steve. Tim, you have anything?
I'll try to be quick. I won't go too in depth here. Maybe we'll talk about it in another one of these episodes. But I got 3 types of cards this week or the types of cards that I just really love the designs. The Giannis. I don't know how well you could see these, but the Giannis. Too light from the phone. But the Giannis from Hoops, I just feel that he has a nice kind of grit look to him, where he's like this, like biting his teeth down. And on the Hoops cards, I just feel like the photography on a lot of them are just really beautiful. I didn't expect that kind of photography on like a lower kind of flagship set. So I'm really. Oh, there it is. Yeah,
There
you
you
can
go.
pull it up. All the
Mhm.
cards I'm about to show you are on my page, so maybe you could do that.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and then if you maybe go up, there's a DeBonsa, Bowman verified. I'm this is college, but I'm in love with these.
This?
I love the portrait shot, and I think it's a real clean shot. I have a few of them, couple coming in, but I love the centered portrait shots of a lot of players, and this one really stands out to me, the verified design. So
Is this going to be the center of his page in your binder?
Well, I don't really do full pages for college guys.
Okay.
I did think they were cool. That would be a lot of DeBonces. Yeah.
For sure.
I don't know if they even have 9 at this point, but so that, and then lastly, and I'll pass it on. You can maybe go to the VJ, the bounce houses. I've been talking a big game of the bounce houses since they were announced. I think they're gorgeous. Very, very 90s feel with the colors in the background. Kind of feels like the Horror Bro alphabet gummies.
Oh, yes.
I don't know why those ones always taste better than the other kinds. I don't know. But it's just a bold, kind of cool design. I wanted to get the pixelated version, but they were a little too expensive for me. So I went with the foil. And I'm just loving these. There's a couple more I want to get, but just so happy to finally have a couple in my collection.
I got to say that Hoops, there's some good photography in it. Now, it's
Mhm.
still a lot of dribbling, but there's like more like cool action shots in it than like Flagship or any of the Chrome stuff. So I do appreciate that. Aren't all the base foil as well? Did we determine that? I think.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that they just don't have regular base because that's always been kind of a staple hoops. But
This is
I don't
this
know.
an example?
That's
Or
a
is it-
rainbow. That's a rainbow
okay.
foil. That's a different kind of foil. So that's, I guess,
Gotcha.
that bounce house was like kind of like the foil that the base cards have as well.
Gotcha.
right. The bounce
Yeah.
houses do come in non-foil.
Okay.
But, so this is, I guess, one step up for the bounce house. But yeah, he's right. The regular, base cards are all foil. Yeah.
Nice. Well, that's awesome. Congrats. I know you were excited about those bounce houses for a long time, and they are really beautiful.
They just have a
Um,
retro look, and it's just different. I kind of
It
dug
is.
them. But
And I mean, look
I
at
have to say, I liked Cosmic, but Hoops is distracting me a lot. I'm still gonna get some Cosmic, but Hoops, I kind of almost like it better. Yeah.
All right. This just for reference, this is the pixelated you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks
so
like a
this is-
rainstorm in the background a little bit. It's nice.
Yeah. So this is a Halliburton from eBay.
It's like
So-
a Panini shimmer type background, is it not? Is that what they called it? I don't know. So many parallels, I forget.
I forgot what
almost looks
what
like that.
Panini called this. Sparkle, maybe? I think this is more
Yeah,
of
I
a
think could
sparkle,
be.
right?
Yeah, it might be. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's awesome. Yeah. Are you gonna try to go after the set, or are you?
The set, I'm never like a set guy.
Okay.
I feel like it's like money I could be putting elsewhere sometimes, like whatever I'm into. So like I'll go into a set and there may be a subset. There may be 20 guys. I may get 5, 10, something like
Yeah.
that, and see which ones I like. Other ones I don't like the shots as much. So kind of depends.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. All right, Ryan, you got anything?
Yeah, I do. I got this DeMar DeRozan. It's from Panini Replay. Panini Replay was a product that not a lot of people loved, but they grabbed a lot of the older rookies from back in the day, had them sign it. They did a bunch of hand numbering down on
Yeah.
the side there. Some of the cards were already numbered on the back, and then they were hand numbered on the front, which is, kind of off-putting, but it does have a big stamp on the front of it. And I really like that having the opportunity to have cards that are like buybacks. So, just a recent pickup. Nothing too crazy.
Okay, and what's cool about that is that one is his prestige rookie, hand signed and hand numbered. Is those cards were stickers, like the actual pack inserted autos in prestige were stickers. So it's cool that they're like on card, even if they're like not necessarily released rookie year. They're whatever buybacks. They're from a product that people rag on, but that's really cool that you could get what would equate at least visually to an on card rookie autograph. Sorry if I'm
No,
being
You nailed
non-traditional. The
they have two
traditionalists will hate me.
it. They have two different versions of those too for photo variations. So
Mhm.
I actually have both photo variations signed, and they're both hand numbered to different numbers. One of them's hand numbered in blue, one of them's hand numbered in black. They really didn't have any rhyme or reason to the stuff that they were doing back then. But it is part of the process when you get something like that that's low numbered to single tens of digits, right? You're really liking it.
Yeah, those are cool. One of my favorite free cards is actually a Hoops card that came out in Replay. It's a 1/1 and it's got his autograph on it. They said one of the buybacks. So those are cool. Yeah, a lot of the Replay stuff is kind of crap, but there's like hidden gems within it.
Jokic had some rookies in there, I think, and there's
Mhm,
definitely
mhm.
some hidden gems in there.
Yeah, they did do a subset in that. Yeah, Replay where you got a couple. I think, what is it? His name, Chris Hodge. I think he has a couple of those Replay 1/1s.
So were they stamped 101s on the back, or they were like hand numbered 101?
No,
It was like a set.
all hand numbered. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, alongside Replay with all the stuff that you could get, they had actual cards out of it that they did specifically for Replay. So it says Replay on it. It's just like a normal card,
Base.
but most of it was just rewards shop junk.
They would take like jersey cards from like Andrew Bogut, hand numbered to 49, have him sign the left side of it over his face, and then they would just put it back in the product. But for whatever reason, all the Klay Thompson autographs from that collection are like numbered to 2. So they're
Right.
all just crazy hard to come across.
Yeah, the best in that set, not to go on and on about it, is that they would have the signature in like black ink, and then the numbering would be in green. And I got a Gary Harris, I think it was a select like gold auto or something like that, and it had the hand number in green. And I just took some like isopropyl alcohol and rubbed it off because it looked so bad.
You guys are being too nice to it, and Ryan also like getting a DeMar DeRozan. Like the buybacks were the best part of replay, but Joey, there were some times where like most of the stuff you were pulling were Chris Joseph sticker autos that were already in another set, and they were numbered out of 299, and they took a Sharpie in the front and wrote out of 45 on it, and it was so you had a, and it was
So
just
bad.
stuff like Ryan said that was in like the the reward shop or unfilled redemptions or just stuff that wasn't released, and they just threw it. Like you might get a napkin relic out of 350 and then they would just hand number out of 23 on the front of it. So most of it was just, that's the product we've talked about on here, that they had to say, sorry, if you bought replay, we created this entire new product called Prism Mosaic and we'll give you a box of it. It was so bad that they had to, the one time that Panini's admitted their faults, and they had to create an entire product line. So 2016, 2017 Prism Mosaic is the, sorry, we made you guys buy 15, 16 replay. Here's a brand new product for it.
Yep.
All right. The one thing that I have to share is, and I think it's actually a good piggyback on your guys' conversation from last week about COMC and how tough it is now, kind of like buying especially low end stuff from there. And I think you guys were talking about Card Hobby too, but I don't know that Card Hobby was ever really like a place you bought base cards and low end inserts or whatever. But I don't know if you guys are familiar. Are any of you guys familiar with the eBay seller Autograph Den? Okay, so they've become one of my new favorite eBay sellers because what they put, their auctions are 1 cent free shipping auctions. So I spent like a week because you can like combine shipping, and it's free shipping, so I don't have to do this. But I was like, whatever. I'll try to do some goodwill to them and like put as many cards in one order as I can. But I spent like a whole week recently following their auctions and adding like Kings and Indian Guardians cards, and it's like the stuff that you would get from COMC before or from a show in like a dime bin or something. It's just like, I don't know if I like, I'll just like show random, I'll just flip through some of the cards, but it's like random base and inserts and stuff like that for binders and player runs and whatever. And they're listed for 1 cent free shipping. So some of them you get for 6 cents delivered, 6 cents shipped. Some of them you put whatever price you're comfortable paying. You can put 25 cents shipped or 99 cents as your max bid, obviously, like whatever you're comfortable with. But it's kind of become, I got, here's some Kings cards that I picked up, since obviously that's our focus. Like here's some Webers I picked up. But it's like, I don't know exactly what I got these two for, but for my Weber binders, I can pick those up for 5 cents shipped. I'm thrilled, because otherwise I'm going to shows, and the only place I can get something for 5 cents is at shows where I'm digging through thousands of cards in a box, which obviously the time to dig through the boxes, but even go to the shows is tough for me. So yeah, I got a huge lot. I don't even know how many cards this is, but it looks like a huge amount of cards from Autograph.
Well, I love that Skybox Weber. That's a good start.
Yeah, right?
Autograph Den. Is that what you said?
Yeah, Autograph Den.
Oh, check that out. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And they're not always just base cards, like I think I got some like parallels and foil cards and whatever. They do more. I did notice more baseball stuff than basketball, so a lot more Indians cards and Guardians cards than Kings. But it's like the nature of it. I think it's just generally more popular or whatever. But yeah, so I would highly recommend it if you feel like COMC is no longer a viable option for your super low end stuff.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, there's definitely some base cards that I need that now that COMC is kind of more difficult to want to ship stuff from. Check it out.
Yeah. All right. So before we really need to jump into our main topic, so we'll do that right now. But before we do, again, if you are hanging out, QR code is there in the corner. links were put into the chats, but I'll put them in one more time. You can click on those links or scan the QR code and you can join us. I'm noticing on Instagram, Chris Watashiwa05 put in a comment praising how Hoops has some good stuff in it. So yeah, it seems like regardless of the set, you can find some gems. So very cool. So let's kind of shift our focus to playoffs. So we talked about, and I forget who said it, but someone said that, the playoffs are obviously the time, right? The time when players build their legacies. They're what we think about when we think about the greatest players of all time and their biggest moments. So what kind of effect do the playoffs and finals have on our collecting habits? So I guess I'll leave that general so that if anybody wants to share their thoughts on that specifically, you can. And then as things come up, we could get more specific. Tim, do you want to start us off? Like, do you have any thoughts on the playoffs, and do they affect your collecting as you watch these games that you've been enjoying recently and things like that?
Oh, they absolutely do. I feel like in a couple of ways, just watching as a neutral fan, kind of seeing even role players like a Sam Merrill or TJ McConnell or Alex Caruso in their first playoffs where they kind of had a big impact. I'm thinking like, oh man, I gotta get a cool one of those guys. In addition to like me grabbing a Halliburton, this is a blue kaleidoscope. I forget what set, Prism from last year. I needed to get a cool numbered Halliburton after that run. It's hard to not be magnetic to this guy unless you're a Knicks fan after that run last year. So you want to get something cool of the stars. So I'm definitely influenced by that. But I also think, and I mentioned the role players with the Pacers. It was just so fun to see the rise of Nembhard and Aaron Nesmith. So I got some of the silvers for Prism, which I love that set at the time. And then also numbered out of 49, I believe, Donruss Choice of the same players. So I definitely picked up them right away. I couldn't believe how much of an impact those guys were having, given all the good wings in the Eastern Conference. I was like, these are the guys that are going nuts. And so that I had to pick up some of those. But I also think it's a great time of year while everyone's distracted, like, oh, go pick up the Wembys, go pick up that, that new rookie or whoever's hot at the time, Anthony Edwards when he's going nuts on deep Western Conference runs. But when everyone's distracted by certain teams and certain players and those prices are rising, I kind of like to look at some of the teams that did not do good that year. And it's a good time to buy low on a lot of those players too during the playoffs. I feel like it's almost the lowest that they'll be throughout the year, I feel. So one of those examples was Rasheer Fleming. This is a Topps finest. He's on the Suns, a rookie, went to St. Joseph's College. On-card auto, and this is a purple, so it's a color match out of 75. I don't get many on-card autos, so it was really cool to find this at somewhat of an affordable rate. And one thing I noticed, he was one of those rookies that I had really high hopes for. He didn't get many minutes, but when he did, he had a real good defensive impact, could hit threes. And, I was kind of sold on him, but the more I was reading, like I went on Reddit and I was like, what do Suns fans think about Rasheer Fleming and Malawach? And they're thinking like, these guys needed minutes. Like, we're upset that they didn't help out in the playoffs. So the entire fan base is like wanting these guys to get more minutes next year. It's very obvious. I assume the coaches realize that. So I thought, okay, I think now's the time after they get eliminated. No one's talking about the Suns. Everyone's distracted with the playoffs. Let me grab him now before he starts to, really get some rumbles in October and November when he starts to get minutes. So I feel like that's another thing you can do in the playoffs. While everyone's distracted with getting certain guys, you go to the bad teams and maybe grab some guys there while they're cheap.
Yeah, it's a great tip. I mean, that's the time, right? I mean, once a player's off season starts, whenever that is, right? I mean, that's what we say, buy in the off season. Yeah, it's a great idea. Anything come to mind? Any thoughts come to mind from what Tim was mentioning?
My Christian Brown Optic Gold. That
yeah,
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
got it for $60. I mean, it was horribly off-centered, but I feel like if they would have made it past the first round, that's probably more like 100, plus card. So yeah, definitely buy on the off season or when your team gets knocked out.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, in terms of the playoff, Joey, and I hesitate as far as because I like Tim's take, and the interesting thing, and I know I threw this into our group chat as a topic, and what came up, was top of mind watching that first Western Conference game, just thinking about as the hype was coming up about Wemby, how many people are on eBay at that moment scrolling through stuff, and it made me reflect that I don't do that at all. Like I am not an impulsive buyer when it comes to that stuff. I collect my Celtic stuff. I have my player PCs. That's the polar opposite of my fandom as a WNBA fan. Unfortunately, WNBA cards come out too late that I can't do that. Like Panini stops me from spending my money because like last year when I was watching Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner on the Mercury make a run to the finals, there were no Mercury cards of those players to be bought until this past spring, right? And same thing the year before with Courtney Williams on the Lynx. They're like I remember texting my WNBA fans and being like, wow, I really wish I could buy a Courtney Williams Lynx card right now when they're in the finals against Liberty. And I couldn't. There wasn't a single one available because all the products came out after the season. But so I definitely get that. I think what I don't do, Tim, is I have to have a relation, like a fandom of the player before. So if like a player that if Drew Holiday was to be on a team right now and making a deep playoff run, there's a chance that I'd go back and be like, you know what? I thought I had enough Drew cards. Like I was good, but here I am excited about him again. Let me scroll through ComC or eBay and see if there's something I like there, right? So for me, I wouldn't go and find a player that I'm like, I would never buy an Alex Caruso card. And we were talking about him. It's as much as I like watching him and I like both the menace side. He's kind of like, he reminds me a lot of Brad Marchand from the Bruins as far as he's like, if he's on your team, he's the best guy. And if you're playing against him, man, does he get under your skin. But I would never, ever go buy a Caruso card. Like, it just doesn't do anything for me. Counter that with, I loved Neesmith when he was in Boston. I've got a few Neesmith cards. I absolutely positively, scrolled eBay last year looking at Neesmith cards. I'm a huge Bruce Brown fan. He's a Boston kid. So Ryan knows that I've, have messaged him during some playoff runs or some fun, in-season games. He'd be like, man, I wish Brown had a nice Nuggets patch card that I could go grab right now. So I do it, but only if I'm already a fan of the player. Like, I just don't, that impulse, the excitement, it just doesn't get into me the same way that it might for some other collectors.
Yeah, I feel like most collectors are team collectors, or they have a couple players like you guys. That's for the most part. That's I feel like what most people do. But I have about 2,000, 2,500 players. Definitely way more than it needs to be. But like I'm gonna collect Dwight Powell eventually. And I was gonna collect Caruso eventually and McConnell eventually. But when they went crazy, I'm like, man, I can't wait to get my hands on one of those. All of a sudden, they become a sexy page. All of a sudden, they become sexy. You know what I mean? When they have that big run, it's like, for me, in the way I collect all these guys, that pass the statistical threshold. So I guess for me, watching these small guys kind of break out and have big moments in the playoffs, I guess for the way I collect, it probably impacts me a little more in my collecting habits than most. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I think that means that I wonder, and I don't know if you've had enough historical kind of time looking at these cards from last year that you bought and stuff. Like, does it elicit those memories of watching them in that specific playoff run? Because I feel like that's worth the extra cost, even if it's a little higher, right?
Yeah. I think it does. Like one example, and I've started to get into these last couple of years, these road to the finals things that they had for hoops. This is DiVincenzo. I know they've been doing this for a while, from what I understand, so maybe I can do some backtracking and get some other ones. But the DiVincenzo run, even as a Nets fan, man, did he encapsulate the city in ways I don't even think Brunson did. Like, when he was going crazy, the city was like, they wanted a statue of him yesterday. And so I needed to get something to remember that run that was just so special. He's never going to touch that again, I don't think, especially after the Achilles or ACL that happened. But even without it, he peaked so hard, during that playoff run, and it's just going to be one of those runs that it'll be hard to explain in 20 years, what he did to help the Knicks on that run. So definitely, when I look at it spurs those memories for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, what's going on, Mark? How's it going? He kind of agrees with some of the stuff that we're saying, like you, Steve, with your WNBA cards. How he almost bought a Drew last year, and then and then how it also helps him commemorate the playoff run. Yeah, and then I think we talked about how 2 weeks ago we talked about the cards that elicit specific moments or memories of like fandom for us when we talked about the more meaningful cards that go beyond the actual card itself. So I think that totally falls in line with that. That's really cool. Ryan, no glasses. You have any thoughts either on this or some other how playoffs affect your collecting?
Yeah, I've been collecting for a long time, like I said, and I was a collector that took breaks in between. So, 96 to like 2001, I was collecting pretty heavy. I started back in 2003 to like 2007, and then 2010 to like 2012, and then 2016 to now. So every time the finals has come up, I've always looked at it as an opportunity, since I collect, crack and wax and, slapping rookies and into things. I just like seeing these player progressions, seeing these players, really, take advantage of their careers and become the player that everybody wanted them to be or thought they could have been, or the player that, their mama thought they were. So I love that. So, but it doesn't change the way that I collect. Since I'm into rookies and I'm into all of those pieces, the one thing that has kind of changed the way that I collect around finals specifically was listening to Wax Museum's perspective of, hey, these are rare pieces of material, and, they shouldn't just fly away, and he's been pining for these like year 2000 jerseys, so when Silhouette came out and they had a whole bunch of massive, just regular jersey pieces that I could get really inexpensive, I got as many of those Warrior big jersey pieces as I could. But that's really the only time I've collected anything that was finals or playoffs. And it's all PC stuff. So
that's really, really well put. And I like that you referenced specifically those like materials, those memorabilia ones, because that was some of what was shared on Instagram. So Darren, Deputy Dog, he shared his finals worn patch of Daniel Gafford, which you can see here on the screen from game 1 of the 24 NBA finals, number 2 out of 3. I mean, look at that patch. And obviously, we don't need to talk like you already did it justice, but I just thought it was a good time to shout that out. But yeah, it's just That's so cool. And obviously I love game dated stuff too, but
I bought like 10 of these patches, and I've just got a cornucopia of them, and it all goes from 2016, 2017, 2018. It's just, they're just about all the same colors, except for one of them's blue, and just really enjoy them.
Is that a variety of players? Is that all Livingston?
It is all Livingston.
Oh, dang.
All the time.
Yeah, nice.
I really can't find any jerseys that size from the finals years from any other player. When I find Draymond's, they're small pieces. When I find like Leandro Barbosa's, for whatever reason, they're crazy expensive. It's all Livingston all the time. I think Panini got a lot of his jerseys at the end of the playoff runs.
Yeah.
There's a Barbosa.
Oh, yeah, there you go. There's a Barbosa. Nice, Ryan.
Yeah, kind of interesting how those, I don't remember when I bought it, probably like the first week or two. I don't feel like it was that much. And then here's a Rashad Lewis that I grabbed as well. And I have some of the, the jumbo napkin ones as well, which is cool. I mean, when else would you really want a jumbo napkin piece except there was a finals game worn jersey? That's just cool.
And it's game dated too, right?
Yeah, exactly. The dated is really awesome.
Great how high numbered they are and how large they are. There's enough to go around where you can get them pretty cheap. Yeah, it's great. Excuse me. So yeah, I wanted to just quickly put in Chris again, Watashiwa on Instagram. He was talking about buying during the playoffs, and he says he doesn't do it because it's smart, but definitely rage and grief buys when his team gets knocked out. So I don't know if I mean, I don't have that experience because my team doesn't make it to the playoffs, but I don't know if Steve or Ryan, like, do you guys ever get something like that? Like, oh gosh, I'm so upset that my team lost. Let me buy a card of theirs or something, or if someone there to ease the blow or make me feel better, to console me a little bit.
Recently, no, because the way the Celtics play, I've like actually hated them in the playoffs, and I've been really frustrated by them. But I've talked a lot about the mid, I don't know, 10,000s. I don't know, this 2016, 2017 type Celtics, which we call the Bridgie Celtics with Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, et cetera. And those teams are just a ton of fun and energy, and they overachieved. So those are definitely the times after the season. It's like, man, that was a fun season. I want to get a nice IT card, or I want to go buy that $10, Zeller gold on eBay or something. But it has to do with my enjoyment of the season. And again, if I'm already fans of the players, but recently, the core of the Celtics hasn't changed for a few years, and I'm not big on like chasing like a Ron Harper Jr. card right now. So it has to be, a good season. The last several outings for the Celtics, I know I'm spoiled. Like they've had a couple of deep playoff runs, but they've really, really frustrated me with like this whole Joe Mazzulla era. So I actually do the opposite, where I kind of hate my cards and have to just not look at them, so I don't go and just like sell them all. So I'm the opposite, but I definitely respect the take.
Steve, I got to ask you a Celtic-specific question about that era. I was always confused by it. Maybe you can have a good answer for me. Avery Bradley was incredible during those years, increasingly good, one of the best defenders in the league, had a real good three-point shot. When he left the Celtics, I feel like his shooting volume completely plummeted. Do you know what happened? Like, what was the thought around the league? Like, why was no one giving him shots all of a sudden? I mean, he could play defense, he could hit threes. Like, why did the shot volume just go like that?
He was traded. You're going to get a longer answer than you want. So Avery Bradley was on the Celtics when they were saving money up to get Gordon Hayward. The playoff run before that, so that would have been the 2017-18? Yeah, 2017-18 season. So the 2017 finals, the Warriors were too dominant that there weren't enough TV games in the playoffs, so the salary cap ended up sinking by $2 million less than projected. So they had already had a behind-the-scenes offer to Gordon Hayward. So in order to save $2 million, they needed to trade Avery Bradley to Detroit for one of the Morris twins, which is the worst trade the Celtics made in a long time. I hate the Morris twins. Avery Bradley was dumped in a contract trade to a floundering Detroit Pistons trade, and then he had to reestablish his value to a team that didn't want him, and then he flopped around the league. He had a few injuries. Players that have a home team and build within a system and they're the right fit for the system, and the Celtics needed him he would play lockdown defense on Kyrie Irving's of the world. You're absolutely right. He would also benefit from getting open shots on very talented teams that were defenses collapsing on Isaiah Thomas, having to roll down to Al Horford, or before that, the unexpected, really bad Celtics teams that people weren't gearing up for. So he was never a great offensive player, but as a two-way player and a true defensive guard, he was excellent. But we see all the time. A player can have, a 10-year career with a team. They go to a new team that's not the right fit or system. And in this case, they didn't want Avery Bradley. They were just doing a contract deal, and they probably got a draft pick out of it. So after that, you go to one bad system and you have to reestablish yourself. And, then all of a sudden the pandemic hits and ends his career. And, it's just, it is what it is. But I think we see that a lot. And he was a role player and just didn't have a role in the team that he was traded to. So
it's amazing how careers work that way. And that might be a really interesting conversation or whatever to do during one hangout is some what ifs, right? Like, what if the Spurs drafted Kevin Garnett instead of Tim Duncan? Or what if Steph Curry ended up on the Kings instead of the Warriors, right? I mean, some of those what ifs would be really, I think, interesting to talk about, because you're right. It's crazy how players, their context is so defining for what their careers become.
Ben Gordon is another perfect example. He left the Bulls and spiraled, didn't go to a good situation. What if he stuck around and was the shooting guard next to D Rose? You know what I mean? How perfect of an accent would that have been if he kept going at that rate?
Yeah, and that's a great call out, because it's not like a superstar or whatever, or maybe he had the pinings of a superstar, but yeah.
I was going to go right for Andrew Wiggins. If Andrew Wiggins just came out and just blew up? Then Ryan would have been so much happy. He would have been so happy if Andrew Wiggins had done great things and just crushed it.
Sure.
Andrew Wiggins was great enough for a couple of nights in Boston in 2022 finals to really help Steph Curry get that finals MVP, because he had his flash on the pan just when he needed it to.
There was some conversation of, should Wiggins get the MVP after a game or two or whatever, right? After game 3 or 4, they were like, is Wiggins the MVP so far? I remember reading that.
He was dynamic in that series. He really was.
Stepped in as the Iguodala for them that year.
For sure. Ryan, last Ryan, have anything that we haven't talked about? I mean, or something to add to what we talked about?
I got a
in terms of
funny
how
one.
Playoffs influence or finals influence your collecting?
Ryan, before you
so-
go, just so
Yep.
I don't want to interrupt while you're actually talking, I am going to bounce, guys. I think I told you in the chat that the Pack to the Future podcast invited me on tonight. They're going live at 10. So, Ryan, I hope this doesn't mess up your audio, but I'm going to log off. I'll let you guys continue this, and then I'll go plug us over on their channel.
Very good. We'll be over there
Good
when
luck,
we're
have
off
fun.
here.
Everyone go watch
Support
Pack
ya.
in the Future.
All right, guys. Talk to you soon.
See you, Steve.
Also, before you go, Ryan, just a couple of shout outs of what ifs. What if Chris Paul went to the Lakers? Yeah. I mean, what was
Gross.
that in 2012 when they canceled that trade?
Yeah.
Dyson Daniels moving to the Hawks from the Pelicans. I'm actually not familiar with what that's done for him or whatever, but yeah, some good shout outs there. All right. Sorry, Ryan. Go ahead.
No, you're good. And it's going to be funny because you know how I don't buy Topps cards. I actually bought a Topps card. Okay. It's
Oh my
kind of a
goodness.
Topps card, though. it's
How can you live with
it's
yourself?
it's like 3/4 of a Topps card. Okay.
It's
So
almost
the
sounding reasonable.
the backstory is that I love the Nuggets logo. It's like any patch card that has like part of the Nuggets logo or like half of it. I've never gotten one that has the full like logo on it, but I saw this custom card and actually two of them, and I grabbed it. And it is from the Topps flagship, but the guy put the Nuggets logo patch behind it.
That's so
And
cool.
this one championship duo leads the Nuggets. And so that's the bottom half of it, and he's got another version, the top half.
Oh,
Ooh.
So I finally bought a Topps card, or two of them. And the guy is Miles Club 5280. I think he's got a eBay store.
nice.
I think he's a local guy, although I'm not entirely sure. I think when it came to me, it was shipped from a Colorado address. But that was like kind of my hate buy after the Nuggets got knocked out, and I was like, let me go just look at stuff that might be like from the championship season to like kind of get me through the pain of losing in the first round. And I saw those, and I was just like, that's cool, man. And I think got both of them for like $50 or something. Really
Wow.
cool customs. Like the guy did a really good job like cutting them out. Like, you know, I don't know the skill involved to cut something like that out, but he did a really excellent job. You can if you like look super close, you can see, you know, it's not perfect, right? It's not like it came off a printer, but from a foot away, it looks excellent. So
Oh, yeah.
That's incredible.
You should almost frame those like, you know, one on top of the other, make like a small frame
Yeah.
on the wall.
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah,
they definitely line up.
They're begging to be displayed that way for sure.
Really cool. Yeah, that would be a good idea just to get a little frame, put them in there. I
Yeah.
like that idea, Tim.
This may be a stupid question. Are those patches like game used? Are they just
Nah,
jersey
probably just.
pieces he found or picked up from like a random jersey?
I bet you he just bought a patch off the internet or something like that. Is
Okay.
my guess, because this is like you might see that large of a patch on like a warm up or something, but that wouldn't be
Yeah.
on a regular jersey.
Right.
So my guess is he just bought one somewhere. But
We're
yeah,
just
this
trying to
cool.
aura farm out here, Joey.
So you guys can give me crap now that I bought Topps cards. Sort of.
Non-associated top
I love
cards.
it. Love it.
Just saying.
No,
those are great.
that is a cool shot of Jokic and Murray. Some of the ones that were like the duos, they didn't quite hit it for me. Like I think the one for the Celtics it doesn't even make any sense. What was it? Tatum and who was it? No, yeah, I can't remember. It was just a bunch of guys like walking away with their backs to the camera or something like that. But yeah, that shot is cool. Like there was some stuff, even though I give Topps crap, it's really not for the design. The designs on them is kind of secondary to me. It's just, you know, not liking Fanatics, but I give them props on that card. It was really well done.
Yeah, that's awesome stuff, dude. I think that's great. Anyone have anything else to add? That's a great example of a grief buy. Did that make you feel better?
Yeah, I mean, you know, just kind of like getting it, seeing it, reliving like the championship and like my thoughts, you know, that I had at the time and hanging out with family when they won. It like brings all those memories back. So I like that idea, Tim, of like framing it, because then you can look up there and kind of have those memories pop into your mind or something like that. But
It's a
definitely,
great shot of those too, as well.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's a
For
cool way to
sure.
put it. Like it's specifically a purchase to remind you of when you won the championship, right? Rather than just
Yeah.
like a random Nuggets purchase or like a McDice purchase, which would be great, but
Yeah.
just not quite hitting the same therapeutic nerve.
exactly.
Yeah. If no one has anything to share or think of, if you have anything to share, I'm going to share some of the stuff that was shared on Instagram that people shared in stories. So again, thank you. I shared Darren's thing. Chris is from Watashiwa. I'm going to share his stuff right now. He shared some specific Durant stuff. So I have those queued up. There we go. So let me zoom in on this a little bit. But this is a Road to the Finals that you mentioned, Tim. This is the 2018 version of the Road to the Finals. And this is I think the lowest numbered version out of 99 for Finals MVP, which is really cool. So that's a specific themed card. So I think you had alluded to the themed card. We didn't talk a lot about playoff themed cards, but that's an example of a playoff themed card. Another example of one is the championship moments. So
Oh yes,
yeah, from the previous year, 2017, somewhat, I guess, Road to the Finals-esque, but I don't know if 2017 also had a Road to the Finals set. So this is a little bit different. The championship moments with Bill Russell, really cool card. I mean, yeah, that's so awesome. Holding the Bill Russell MVP trophy with Bill Russell, very cool.
Yeah, that's great.
I love
And then-
how connected he was with players up until the end, like modern players. Like a lot of old guys just spend the last 20 years not talking or showing them their face, but he would to the end. He was always showing himself at events, and it's so cool to see him next to a Warriors Durant.
Mhm.
A weird
Yeah, that's
silver lining.
awesome. And he was always signing, right? Like signing to the end. Really cool.
He was also big on University San Francisco, and everybody thought, hey, I'll be able to see Bill Russell. He'll be near the basketball courts. Well, during the summer, Bill Russell spent all his time on the links playing golf. He did not spend his time on the hardwood watching those young guys. He spent his time playing golf. But he spent a lot of time. I live up near the San Francisco Bay Area, so I've got pretty close ties and connections with people who had close ties and connections with him. So
Wait, he went to University of San Francisco?
Yeah.
Okay. Did Wilt go there too? I felt like that was Wilt. No, he didn't go there.
Wilt went to UCLA, I think.
Oh, okay. So I got them confused. That's what it was then. All right. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it real quick. I believe you on the UCLA thing. And the last one that Chris shared, and I don't know if that's finals themed or not. It's the finals tickets from Contenders, Panini Contenders basketball. They had like the finals ticket, the championship ticket. I thought they were just different in numbering. I don't know if anyone has more information or knowledge about this card in terms of like, I think this is the 2018 Panini Contenders finals ticket, Durant. I'm not sure if the only thing on it is that it's finals. Were only players that were in the finals the previous year featured in this set. Does anyone know anything more about that?
Well, Contenders had a lot of those like ticket style ones, so that must have just been themed for the finals. But a lot of Contenders stuff for like rookies is, based on a ticket from that season or something. I thought, I could be wrong about that, but they have a lot of that ticket style stuff in Contenders. That's a cool one, though.
Yeah, it's a cool one. Yeah, I'll have to like find out more information, or maybe ask Chris to provide more information on that because, I think that would make it so much more meaningful. I just thought that they changed the name of the subset or whatever, the parallel based on the numbering. But yeah, that'd be really cool. And then I think there was another one or two. Let me make sure that I've got those included. Oh yeah, so there was two more that I wanted to share. One was from Hoops Hobby. Again, in case you aren't aware, Hoops Hobby has a great blog, hoopshobby.com, as well as MJ's sports cards. Mark's got a Substack, so make sure you read those because they've got the great long form content. But there's a couple. This is the one Hoops Hobby shared. It's from UD Encore. It's the Reggie Miller clutch heroics from a playoff game. So it specifically mentions the Reggie Miller making a game-winning shot, I guess, over Ewing. So Oh yeah, buzzer
That's
beating
Encore.
viewing in overtime. So specific game dated shot and design and stuff like that.
That's
Great
super cool.
shot. And I love that set. I had no idea that they had finals notes on them, or some of them anyway, but that's a beautiful set. I had a couple
it's
of them in
interesting.
baseball growing up, but I don't think I've ever gotten anything in basketball.
That's interesting. They look so similar, those two cards, but obviously the one on the right is a little different. Like it's slightly
It's an
different.
Encore FX, I think. They're like out of 125, I believe.
Oh, so the Encore on the
the
left
one-
is the numbered one?
Yeah, the one on the right maybe as well.
Okay.
But I just, I have like a dunk into that Encore FX one. It's really
Oh.
cool.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that yellow shine is really, really nice. Hitting
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. It's beautiful. And the action shot, yeah, it's a great card. And then the last one that was shared was from Evan, Pristine Paper. Speaking of, I don't know if I can find it fast. Speaking of finals worn, here we go. It was he collects the Noir game night jersey patches. Oh, that's so cool. And this specific game dated patch of LeBron and game night jerseys in the 2022-23 Noir set is from the finals, which is crazy that they would put like in a non-specifically finals dated set, like a finals dated patch card of LeBron, which is really cool.
I would love to see Panini's like warehouse with all these jerseys, just like from several years. Like they have a giant file of LeBron's listed with the game on it. Like where is this? They're keeping these. Must be one hell of a filing cabinet.
Yeah,
they put them all out in silhouette. They're pretty expensive.
Nothing left.
LeBron stuff is pretty expensive there, but
yeah, cool. Anyone else have any specific sets they want to shout out or thoughts on collecting during playoffs or influenced by playoffs or anything like that? All right, very cool. One last thing before we go. The crazy one says keep an eye out on his Instagram this weekend because there's a big card show in Sydney and he'll be going live showing cards in display cases. So keep an eye out on the crazy one's Instagram so that you can follow along. And that's really cool. I mean, obviously none
definitely
of us
want to see that. Yeah, because he's actually grabbed me a couple cards from one of those shows, and appreciate it, man. Again for all the cards you picked up for me. So be cool to see the actual shows. It looks like they got a lot of great cards over there as well.
Yeah, very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you for that. It's a crazy one. We'll keep an eye out. Otherwise, everyone, it's been fun hanging out again. Hope you guys enjoyed talking playoffs and collecting influence by playoffs and playoff sets and all that stuff. And we will talk to you guys all next week. Have a good one.
See you guys.